Hello children, good morning everyone. Now in this video session, we'll be trying to learn one more interesting topic from the lesson acids, bases and salts. See, here is a question. What do you observe when water is mixed with acid or base? Okay, while doing experiments in the laboratory, generally we'll be adding acids and bases with water. The mixing of an acid or a base with water is known as dilution. What do we call this process as? Dilution. In the process of dilution, the concentrated acids will be converted into diluted acids. Similarly, concentrated bases will be converted into diluted bases by the addition of water. So generally, most of the students will be getting doubt how to do the dilution process. How to make the concentrated solution into a diluted one. That means we all know that it should be the mixing of acid and water. But the question here is, here the acid should be mixed to water or the water should be mixed to acid. Which is the best way? So, what is the best suggested way of diluting an acid or base? Today in this session, through this video, we'll try to learn. Okay. So, for this process of dilution, first you need to take a test tube and take about 10 ml of water in the test tube. Take about 10 ml of water in the test tube and add concentrated sulfuric acid, H2SO4 concentrated one. H2SO4 concentrated. Sulfuric acid you add into this test tube containing water slowly drop by drop while stirring. Then after the addition of a concentrated sulfuric acid into this test tube, just you touch the test tube and observe. You can feel the hardness. What do you observe, children? You will be observing some hardness. Why the test tube is hot? After the addition of concentrated sulfuric acid, why it is became hot? Because when you add the concentrated sulfuric acid to water, it is going to liberate some amount of heat energy into its surroundings. Due to this reason, we can feel the hotness when you touch the test tube. Okay, so in this process, the addition of acid to water is going to liberate some amount of heat energy. Heat energy is released outside. Hence, this process is called as exothermic process. What is this process, children? It is known as exothermic process. What is exothermic? Exothermic in the sense, the process in which, or a chemical reaction in which, certain amount of heat energy is released outside. In that case, that process or that reaction is known as exothermic reaction. So, dilution is also an exothermic process. When we are diluting the concentrated acids or concentrated bases, it is going to release some amount of heat energy. Hence, the dilution is said to be an exothermic process. Okay, similar thing you can observe even when you add a concentrated base instead of concentrated acid. Instead of sulfuric acid concentrated, if you take sodium hydroxide concentrated solution or sodium hydroxide pellets directly, when you add into this test tube containing 10 ml of water, again you can feel the hardness. So this is the dilution of base. Dilution of acid or dilution of base. Both are said to be the exothermic process since they are going to release some amount of heat energy outside. Okay. So in this process, one important thing we need to know is whether we should add acid to water or water to acid. Suppose if you take a small beaker and add, if you take a small beaker with containing 100 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid, 100 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid in a small beaker, and then suppose if you add water to this drop by drop, what is going to happen means addition of water directly to the concentrated sulfuric acid is going to release large amount of heat energy. If water is added to the concentrated acid, the heat generated may sometimes splash out and causes burns. And due to this excessive local heating, sometimes this glass beaker also may break. So this is the thing that is going to happen when you add water directly to the concentrated solution of acid or base. So this is this method of dilution is not at all preferred. We should not add water to the acid. Instead, what we should do, we have to take the first method in which the acid is added into the water. What we have taken previously, concentrated sulfuric acid, drop by drop, we are going to add to the water. This is the best method of dilution of an acid. Dilution of an acid means what? Mixing of acid with water or mixing of a base with water is called dilution. So what is the better way of diluting an acid or base means the water should not be added to the acid. Instead, what we should do, the acid only, the concentrated acid only, we should add to the water. That too, we should add drop by drop with constant stirring, because it is liberates some amount of heat energy as it is exothermic process. Directly, if we do the reverse process, that means if you take the acid and if you add water to this excessive generation of heat energy causes local heating, excessive local heating of the apparatus, and this may cause the breaking of glass apparatus and also causes severe burns for that person who are doing that activity. So in order to avoid that one, always we have to dilute the acid. A concentrated acid should be diluted by mixing the concentrated acid with water drop by drop. Okay, while stirring we have to dilute. Dilution is also very, very important. So this must be known by everyone, how to dilute the acid or how to dilute the base. Okay, what is going to happen when we dilute the acid? In this way, when we dilute the acid, here dilution means we are mixing it with water. Okay, so due to this dilution, the number of H3O plus ions decreases. So acid generally contains H3O plus ions in its solution. Okay, acid releases H3O plus ions in its solution, which makes it acidic. Okay, so when we dilute the acid by mixing it with water, the number of H3O plus ions per unit volume will be decreasing. That means its acidity will be decreasing. Okay, suppose if you dilute a base, here number of OH minus ions per unit volume also decreases. Okay, so dilution is a process in which the number of ions are going to decrease. Okay children, we will meet with another topic in the next session. Thank you.